New York Giants game preview week 2. The Giants are in Chicago at a 1 p.m. game. The Bears are 5.5 point favorites, I believe, for this game. I believe the Giants are going to win this game. I could be a fool for it. I still think they win this game. I'm not buying into the whole Bears fourth quarter thing the other day that happened last week. But we'll get into the offense, the defense, final game predictions. I kind of just spoiled it for you guys. But final game predictions, leave in the comments your score predictions. Hopefully you enjoy this video, and let's get into it. So we'll start with the Giants offense here. So, of course, as we know, the Giants had a lot of trouble running the ball against the Steelers last week. But the good news is that 35-year-old or whatever he is, Adrian Peterson, basically had 100 yards against them, 14 carries for 93 yards last week. Now, they allowed 426 total yards to the Lions, and the Lions have a good offense. I acknowledged that before the year. I'm not sure about their defense, but their offense, they have some firepower. Stafford's still a good quarterback, in my opinion. But their defensive coordinator, Chuck Pagano, the former Colts head coach, he says, I expect a huge leap from week 1 to week 2. Blame some of it on the rust. He says he has to be better himself as a defensive coordinator. So I guess we could expect the Bears defense to get better. They still have the talent, obviously. If you look at their roster, still very good. I think the Giants' outside receivers might have some trouble in this one. If Golden Tate plays, it's probably going to be Sterling Shepard on the outside and Darius Slayton. They have Kyle Fuller and Jalen Johnson, who's a rookie I liked out of Utah. He was very impressive in week 1. So the Giants' offensive line might have some problems here. I mean, of course, they have Khalil Mack, they have Akeem Hicks, and Robert Quinn, who I believe was with the Cowboys last year. But Quinn is questionable with an ankle injury, I believe, so I think he's practicing on a limited basis. We'll see if he plays, but the Giants' offensive line definitely has to be better in this game. So I do think overall they might struggle offensively. I hope they get the run game going. I think they'll try. I said in my video with the entertainer, I think the Giants should come out passing heavily in this game to start it off. Go ahead and attack the young cornerback. See if he's actually legit. I do like Jalen Johnson, but see if he's legit. They have Buster Screen in the slot. He's not the best guy there is, so why not try and go for Golden Tate early if he's active, and maybe get Evan Engram the ball. I mean, the Bears are susceptible to tight ends in the passing game, so maybe try to get Evan Engram in the passing game early. Hopefully he doesn't drop the ball, but I think the Giants will score somewhere over 20 points. I don't expect over 30 points, but I think they can get somewhere in the 20s. I think they can reach that 20-point number. I do expect the Giants to score 24 points in this game based on my final score prediction. So hopefully they get things going. I mean, Jason Garrett's debut wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst either. I think there's some things that need to be worked on for sure. They need to stop running the ball with 8 or 9 guys in the box. That kind of annoyed me. But, I think in today's NFL, you guys can argue me on this one. I think in today's NFL, you kind of have to pass to set up the run. I feel like the days of just setting up the pass with the run, I feel like is kind of outdated at this point. I feel like in today's NFL, the short passing game might be the way to go, and maybe the Giants set up the run that way. So the Bears will be ready for Saquon Barkley, but based on the success that Adrian Peterson had last week, I'm a bit more optimistic in this matchup as compared to last week. So for the Giants defense, I mean, the Bears, if you watched last week against the Lions, they came back from like a 23-6 deficit in the fourth quarter. They scored 21 unanswered points. Now, I don't completely buy into it. They had some good field position. I think there was a 55-yard field goal that was missed that gave them good field position. There was a Stafford interception at midfield. So, the points don't actually tell the whole story. Now, Matt Patricia kicking that 55-yard field goal up 10 with 4 minutes left was not a good decision, and then Matt Prater missed it. So, gave the Bears good field position. They came back and won, of course. Now, when watching that game, they actually gave Jimmy Graham a couple jump balls in the end zone. There was one play where he almost scored. He was down at the 1. So Jimmy Graham's a guy to watch out for. If they get him on a smaller corner like Valentine or even Darnay Holmes, you got to watch out for that. So Jimmy Graham, while I don't think he moves too well these days, is still a pretty good jump ball option. He's like 6'5", so that can definitely benefit him. Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller, the Bears receivers, they are legit. Now, Miller's a slot guy. Allen Robinson's an outside guy. There was a lot of drama about Robinson this week, and I got bashed on Twitter by some people for saying I want to give up a second and fourth round pick for Allen Robinson. You guys can put in the comments whether you would do that or not. I think it's fine. Robinson's 27 years old. He is phenomenal. I mean, he's never played with a good quarterback in his career. The guy put up 1,400 yards with Blake Bortles, and then last year put up 1,100 yards, I believe, with Trubisky and Chase Daniel. I think the guy is a magnificent receiver. So it will be a tough task for James Bradbury, who will be on Robinson in all likelihood unless they put him on unless they put him on Ballantyne. And Ballantyne actually faced Robinson last year in the slot, and if you guys remember that game, there was a point in like the third quarter, maybe fourth quarter, where Robinson was just getting reception after reception because Ballantyne had no idea what to do against him. So hopefully that's not the case this time around. So Darnay Holmes will face Anthony Miller. I think Miller's great at separation. He's good after the catch. He's a wide receiver I've always liked, so we'll have to watch out for him. Ted Ginn is there as well. I don't know what Ted Ginn does nowadays. I'm sure he's still fast. Just don't let him get behind you, please. And they have someone else, like Wims or something like that. He might have caught a touchdown last week, but I'm not too worried about that guy. So Trubisky, actually, no, the Bears' run game, it was not awful last week. I actually want to go look at the numbers real quick. So David Montgomery, who came back on his he came back from a groin injury pretty early. 13 carries, 64 yards, 4.9 per carry. Not terrible. Tariq Cohen, like the scat back guy they have, the guy who's like 5'5", 7 carries, 41 yards, 5.9 per carry. And Mitch Trubisky was 3 for 26. Cordero Patterson, who's like a wide receiver running back hybrid these days, was 4 carries, 19 yards, 4.8 per carry. So they had some success running the ball last week for sure, so I give them credit for that. What else do we have? So, as I would say, Mitch Trubisky doesn't exactly scare me, especially the way he passes the ball, but his mobility definitely adds an extra element to that passing game for the Bears. So, Trubisky's the type of guy who's not going to be like Roethlisberger. He's not allowed, but he can get away from the rush, unlike Roethlisberger could. So, I think Trubisky, from a passing standpoint, as I said, does not scare me too much, but just because B.J. Hill or Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence get in the backfield doesn't mean it's going to be a sack. I think Mitch Trubisky is pretty good at getting out of those bad situations. There was a sack he took in last week's game that was awful. He ran backwards and lost 20 yards on it in the fourth quarter, actually. So hopefully Trubisky does more of that. Now, the Bears' offensive line, I think, is average at best. I mean, they have decent tackles. I don't think their inside's that good. Their center, I think, might be all right, but I'm not really worried about their guards. So I think their offensive line is definitely exploitable. And Cordero Patterson, who we talked about before, I think I don't know if he was a first-round pick of the Vikings 5 years ago, whatever it was, but he can play running back and wide receiver, so you got to watch out for him. He can break off a big play for sure. So, the Giants' defense might have some tough tasks in this one. Robinson and Miller are the guys I'm most scared of. Jimmy Graham in the red zone, definitely have to watch out for him. The Bears' run game shouldn't be that scary. It really depends. The Giants have a good run defense, so I'm not too worried about that. But, that's pretty much it. My score prediction for this game, as I said in the other video, for some reason the 24-20 score is stuck in my head. I don't know whether the Bears win it, whether the Giants win it, but this being a Giants channel and me wanting the Giants to win, I will say the Giants win this game 24-20. Hopefully that's correct. If we win by more than that, that's awesome. But, I think they'll be all right this game. I think it'll be close. I don't see the Giants getting blown out in this one. If they get blown out by Mitch Trubisky, that's a problem that has to be addressed. But I think right now, I like the spot the Giants are in. I think this matchup favors them pretty well. James Bradbury could do all right, and Allen Robinson. I like Darnay Holmes in the slot. So, the two biggest weapons on the Bears, won't say they'll be canceled out, but I think they'll be held in check a bit more than than other matchups where it favors them. So I have the Giants winning this week. That's definitely a rare one. It might be the first time for the next few weeks, honestly, because I think the next few weeks coming up are definitely tough matchups, but this is a game that if they want to make the playoffs this year and be a legit contender, I feel like they have to win. They can't lose this one, and, they play the Niners the week after and somebody else tough after that. So this is kind of a must-win for the Giants if they want to actually be in the playoffs this year. Obviously, it's not a must-win for, Joe Judge's job or anything like that, but if the Giants want to be in the playoffs this year, I feel like this is a game you kind of have to win, so I'll leave it at that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, leave in the comments your score prediction. I will talk to you guys after the game. Hopefully it's a positive me. Hopefully it's a win, but I'll talk to you guys next time.